the Mossberg Shockwave. Let's check it out. Mossberg has been making excellent shotguns for a long time, and originally with their 500 series they were fairly inexpensive, a little bit less than the Remington 870, but when they came out with the Mossberg 590, that really upped their game, and they started producing these for the US military, and they're just excellent designs for a 12 gauge or for other gauges for that matter. But one of the big things about this is it is not a shotgun. This is the Mossberg Shockwave, and it is actually considered just a firearm. Now I want to thank GunBuyer.com for sending the Mossberg Shockwave. This is something that I have been dying to get a hold of. It's been out for a while, but there are just a lot of cool things about this, and I just wanted to really get it out to the range and really see if this is a viable self-defense option or if it's just a gimmick. But either way, it is a lot of fun at the range. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now obviously the Shockwave has been out for a while, so this is nothing new, but there's a lot of controversy of, you know, is this just a gimmick or is it really something that's a viable self-defense option? We're going to kind of look at a little bit of that, but there's a lot already online. I think one of the best videos about that would be Nut and Fancy's video on this firearm. And so I'll leave it at that. Of course, I'll have a link right here for you to check it out, because I just think it's an excellent philosophy video. But the one big thing we're going to look at today is just a lot of the specifics, and we are going to hit on it. Now, first thing I want to do is make sure the gun isn't loaded, bring it back, and the chamber's empty, and so is the tube. Now, one of the beauties of this firearm is that it is just a firearm. It's not a handgun. It's not considered a shotgun. It falls in between, and thus it doesn't fall under NFA regulations or National Firearm Regulations, which have to do with sawed-off shotguns, short-barreled rifles, fully automatic firearms, or suppressors. And so this is actually just considered a firearm. And so it's really one of those things that makes it nice because it falls in between. And yet it's still a very compact package that shoots 12 gauge, a 14-inch barrel. The minimum length for a standard shotgun is 18 inches. So the first thing is you get 4 inches right off the front, less than you do a standard shotgun. The other thing is we have this bird's head type grip. One thing we're going to be looking at is one of the braces that we're going to put on here. It's a pistol brace. It does have a grip, and we're going to consider that when we look at it as far as how that falls into the regulations. Now this is based off of the Mossberg 590 design, which is used by the US military. It's a mil-spec receiver, and it is steel. If you go to the Mossberg 500, they're an aluminum frame. So this gives you some stability with it, but it does add a little bit of weight to the firearm. Plus, on the 590, the barrel has a little bit of a thicker wall to it, which is not really important in this, but mainly for a longer barreled shotgun it does. It is pump action, and as you can see, it does have this strap. Now, one of the big things about this strap, in fact, when I first saw it, I was like, well, that kind of looks goofy, but one of the big problems with a shotgun like this is when you're firing it. Because it is a little different than your standard shotgun, you're not firing it in the traditional way. And so your hand can actually, if you're not careful, come loose, and you can take out your fingers, or your hand for that matter. So that's one of the big things about this strap. I would highly advise leaving this strap on here unless you're going to switch out the forend, which I love this forend. I mean, it's kind of the corncob type effect, and it gives you a lot of texturing, gives you a really nice grip. Of course, you know, you can adapt your Magpul fore ends, things like that. That would be a little bit different with a stop. But even then, you know, you can actually, with the way this thing rocks, it really is nice to have that strap. So personally, I like the strap. I'm going to keep it on there. There's some that have said they didn't like it, but for me, that's what I like. Also, right here on the front, we have a sling swivel, but there's also one right here on the back. So you can go with a single point sling. It makes that really nice. Now, the safety is mounted right here at the back. It's really easy to get to, and it's pretty intuitive. But, you know, if you're used to the Remington, you know, it has the locking cross bolt safety here. It is drilled and tapped, so you can put a rail on here, you can put a red dot, whatever you want to, and we may be looking at that a little bit later. One of the things I wanted to do with this one is just show it as is, and so it just kind of gives you what you're getting. We do have some additions we're going to be coming up with. It does have a steel trigger, but the trigger guard is plastic, and it's a plastic insert, but to me that's not a big deal. Right here is your release for your pump, and so when you bring your forearm forward, unless you've pulled the trigger, this allows you to bring that stock back or bring the forearm back into the rear position. Of course, to insert the shells, just drop it in, and this is spring loaded. I'm not going to load it while we're in here. We're going to take it down to the range and test it all out. It does hold 5 rounds of 2 3/4 inch, and it holds 4 rounds of 3 inch. And then, of course, you can put one in the tube. There, again, are a lot of different things that you can do to upgrade this. Side saddles, of course, mount scopes. Now, we do have a bead, brass bead at the front, which has been adequate for a long time, but there are some better options to be able to pick that up really quickly. One thing, too, about the Model 590 is that it has dual arms. That gives you a lot of strength. I believe with the 500, it's just one arm, which has worked for a long time. I've got a couple of 590s, and they're great, but I really like the strength and the stability of the double arms. Now, to give you an idea of some of the advantages of the Shockwave, or the TAC 14 for that matter, is, you know, it's obvious that it looks cool, it's a small size, but how does it compare with a standard shotgun of minimum length? And this one is a CZ612, has the 18-inch barrel, and guys, you can see, I mean, it really reduces not only for the barrel length, of course, with this, and then you don't have a stock. That's going to give you less control with the Shockwave, which is definitely an advantage with a stock. But with this, to me, there's a lot of things that this can be done because of the small size, especially in really compact, confined spaces. This is going to give you some advantage. But again, guys, there is a lot of controversy about whether this is really just a gimmick or it's really great for self-defense. Now, the Mossberg Shockwave weighs 5 pounds, 5.4 ounces on my scale. Now, the overall length of the Shockwave is 28 inches. With the 18-inch barrel, which again is minimum length, this runs 38 inches. So you have a full 12 inches of length over the Shockwave. Wow, a lot more control with the stock for sure. I was shooting a little bit high with this, seemed to kind of pull up. But of course the stock on your shoulder is an advantage, but yet you got the compact size. Now, there are a number of different accessories that are available for the Shockwave. The SP Tactical Pistol Brace, to me, is one of the biggest. Now, with the Shockwave and this rubberized piece that comes all the way down, it makes it nice to put on your cheek. You have your brace, you can put your arm through it and shoot it that way, or occasionally, of course, on your shoulder, which gives you a lot of stability. So this is, to me, a must on the Shockwave to make it a viable self-defense option. And the ergo grip is just really comfortable. It's just excellent. And it's very easy to install. But another addition that I think may be just as important is this barrel. And it's a 14-inch barrel. This was sent by Brownells. I think it is a Mossberg barrel. But here we have ports on either side that definitely helps tame the recoil, and a fiber optic front sight. This thing glows like nobody's business. And so to me, aside from the SP Tactical Brace, this would be a really great feature to add just to help tame that recoil, because that 14-inch barrel, guys, I'm telling you, it can get out of control. I highly recommend getting the brace, even if you put it up on your cheek. It's going to give you a much better controllability than just holding it out with your hands. And then with these ports in the barrel, they definitely make a difference as well. And then this fiber optic makes it really easy to see. Now we're using some of the Aguila mini shells, and this is buckshot, but we're using one of the Opsol little spacers, and this is what really allows you to feed and for these to work right. I've seen some guys try to use these without it, and it just doesn't work right. The price of the Shockwave 590 is $299 on the GunBuyer website. And again, those guys are great to deal with. They did send this for the evaluation. And then the SB Tactical stock from Brownells, $159.99. The barrel with the fiber optic sight and the ports is $189.99. Man, that brace makes a world of difference, a world of difference. And I want to thank Fiocchi USA for sending the buckshot, the slugs, and the birdshot that we shot through this thing. It will take 3-inch shells. And of course, you know, again, you get 4 rounds with 3-inch, you get 5 rounds with 2 3/4. And also I want to thank Aguila for sending those mini shells. You do get 8 in this tube. So the Mossberg Shockwave, is it a great self-defense option? To me, in the original configuration, you're going to be hard pressed. Maybe in a vehicle, maybe. But it is so harder to control and really get those shots. In fact, Mossberg even recommends that you don't hold it up to your face. But to me, that's the only real way to get decent accuracy. They actually recommend that you shoot it from the hip. So adding that SB Tactical brace to me for a self-defense shotgun is a must. And then of course, with this barrel, this just gives you some added advantages. Again, I want to thank GunBuyer.com for sending the shotgun for the test and evaluation. And of course, Brownells for sending the upgrades. This has been a great test. I've been pretty excited about getting one of these. As far as the Shockwave goes, it's excellent, but adding these just takes it to a whole nother level. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And there are a lot of legal ramifications. So you have a full 1/4. So you have a full 12 inches of length over your little. And then you got that fiber optic front. It's so easy to see. I'm gonna